Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. Crypto whales are buying the dip. Yes, those wealthiest among us in the world of crypto are snatching up XRP, they're snatching up Bitcoin, whatever the hell else they want, while everybody else has already panic sold. So, is it safe to begin buying again? Will people continue the panic selling? Well, I've got some thoughts from a few analysts. What I'm going to start with is a piece from dailyhodl.com, somebody just citing the fact that the real money, it seems to be buying. There's a case to be made, a bearish case to be made, according to a piece from CoinDesk, although that's not necessarily where they're indicating things are going, just acknowledging that it's possible. I've also got an update on the Fear and Greed Index, which I mentioned yesterday. It calculates basically how scared are people participating in this particular market, and it's associated very closely with buying and selling action, as you might suspect. And then I'll close out the video with an article from Daily Hodl, and it's about Coinbase. They are no longer going to be offering Zcash. Now, I did touch on this story the other day, but I've got an update for you on the rationale as to why. And hint, it might have something to do with the fact that Zcash is a privacy coin. And so it got me the other day into a broader discussion about privacy coins and why I'm a little bit hesitant myself to be invested in them, although I have no crystal ball. Cannot tell the future if they'll have staying power. I'm hesitant, so I'm going to give you an update on that story as well. Now, before we get going, if you would please delicately tap that like button, and if you are a fan of Ripple and XRP, go ahead and subscribe to the Moon Lambo channel. This is a very XRP-focused channel, and even when I cover news that isn't about XRP, which is only a certain percentage of the content covered here, I'm always thinking of what does this mean for XRP and our crypto community. So here's a piece, dailyhodl.com. It's titled "Crypto Whales are buying the dip on Coinbase," says crypto analyst. A majority of investors with large Bitcoin holdings are buying the dip instead of selling, according to new data from Coinbase. Crypto researcher Larry Cermak highlighted the data on Twitter, which is available via Coinbase's new trading signals initiative. And here you can see they've got a screen capture of the actual tweet from Larry Cermak. And it states, interestingly, according to Coinbase's data, 67% of customers with large BTC holdings, top 10%, are buying rather than selling in the last 24 hours. And then you can see there's a little indicators here, which I'm circling. I'm not going to read them out because it's not that relevant to what I'm getting at here. And then the piece continues, the signals, launched last month, are designed to offer fresh insight on trading activity and how Coinbase users are reacting to the markets. The top holder activity signal analyzes the biggest holders of a given crypto asset on Coinbase, revealing how many users in the group have bought or sold their positions in the last 24 hours. That is genuinely fascinating to me, and it's not exactly particularly surprising to me. I think that the people at the top who have the most crypto, perhaps they're intelligent and understand markets to a particular degree. Maybe that's in part how they got there in the first place. And they recognize what I always talk about on this channel, because although, and again, this is not financial advice, I don't even have a financial background, but it just seems to be somewhat common knowledge that as people are panic selling, if the fundamentals haven't shifted, why are you actually doing that? You know, trends are started, lemmings follow other lemmings off of a cliff and die, you know, that type of concept here. And so it's not too surprising to me that after you saw a massive sell-off, those which are presumably behind the smart money choose to buy more. They're buying the dip. So I won't presume to tell you whether or not it's actually going to go up or down, but I still want to insist, especially for us here in the XRP community, because again, this is a Bitcoin the metric that they're utilizing to discuss Bitcoin as it pertains to us here in the XRP community. XRP absolutely is correlated to Bitcoin. It's also true that XRP, although correlated, is the least correlated of the top 10 cryptocurrencies by market cap. And that's why you can go long periods of time like you saw in 2017, where, again, half a year where you could have made the argument, if you just look at that half a year, would say XRP is not correlated at all. But to see that that's not accurate, all you have to do is zoom out on the chart. And then you can see anecdotal. Here's a specific instance when Bitcoin crashed just the other day, 2 days ago, in a big way. XRP followed in lockstep, like almost down to the minute, and so did the rest of the market, of course. And so if you, if the stance is that, there's no correlation there, you're flat out wrong. And it's easily illustrated. But some people get tricked just by seeing, because, again, there are these longer periods where price does look flat, and then you see Bitcoin move, and you might say, oh, it's not correlated. Well, no. It's not that every single coin that is tethered to Bitcoin in terms of price action, it's not reasonable to expect that they move in tandem down to the minute, the second, the day, the week, the month, or whatever. Or in XRP's case, not even down to half a year sometimes. I cited 2017 as a perfect example of that. So if Bitcoin is going up, given how much XRP created, I won't be surprised if we see XRP continue to go up. I think, let me pull it up right here. It is currently, as I record this, just shy of 27 cents. So, and, given that it got down to something like 24 cents within the last couple days, it is heading back up, and Bitcoin has, to whatever degree, recovered, and there's some green in the market here. If Bitcoin continues to head in the bullish direction, I think you're going to get to a point where, at a minimum, if I had to guess, and I don't make price predictions, but I'd say it like this, because I don't make predictions, I won't be surprised if it tends to, if XRP tends to hover around, the lower 30-cent mark. I won't be surprised if that happens. But you never know, and history shows this, you never know when the next parabolic breakout of XRP is going to be. You just don't know. Who would have predicted, given that XRP, the beginning of 2017 was around half a penny, who the hell would have predicted, after it's staying flat for half a year, from, let's say, May to November, who would have guessed that come December 2017, that it would start ramping up? Who would have guessed they would go from around 25 cents in December to almost $3, I think, up something like $2.85, and then in January got all the way up to $3.92 as an all-time high, according to LiveCoinWatch.com. Who would have thought? You just don't know when it's going to happen, and that's why, for me, somebody like me, and again, never financial advice, but that's why I just want to make sure I have exposure to it. That's why I've just been dollar cost averaging in on a regular schedule. I'm very disciplined about it, whether the price is up, the price is down. I don't let that determine whether or not I buy, and I'm not interested in selling until it's worth a lot more. And if it's never worth a lot more, if I'm actually wrong, I will go down in a blaze of glory. I will, and I don't care. But this is not my retirement plan either. I'm really not counting for retirement. It's more like this will just be icing on the cake, and maybe a lot of icing depending on how well XRP does. But I am Mr. XRP Bull. That said, I'm still cautious with my money, regardless. It doesn't matter what my confidence is, because the way I look at it is, if I'm wrong and I put way too much in XRP, it would be devastating. I'm not willing to take the risks, despite the fact that I'm highly confident that XRP will have a lot of staying power. And if you fast forward decades from now, I could say in hindsight, yeah, I wish I had kept it all XRP, like 100% of everything that I own. Maybe it's one of those things where you look back and say that, but I can't live life like that. I got to be able to sleep at night, and it's that would not be a tenable situation for me. So we'll see when it happens, but I won't be surprised if you don't see. I won't be surprised if maybe you even got to wait. And some people have speculated this. People that are more like chart analysis. Someone said, "Hey, when's the rest of the altcoin? When's the next alt season going to come? And the rest of the market pick up?" And some people have the opinion that you got to get to the point where Bitcoin has reached its all-time high. Once that goes, then all bets are off, and maybe you're going to see all the coins run kind of like they did in 2017. That's a theory out there. I'm not sure. I don't assume to understand it when it comes to the actual charts. As long as I understand the fundamentals are in place, that's good enough for me, because it's my investment thesis that as long as there's real utility for something, and as long as it's being adopted by the world in a meaningful way, and we're in the beginning phases of that, I believe, as long as that's all happening, I'm happy to be invested. I am more than happy to be invested, and I feel fortunate to have the opportunity here. Let me read a little bit further on this piece. So moving down here, and then they write, where did I jump off? Sorry, I lost my place. Sometimes when I'm scrolling up and down, I sincerely apologize. So unprofessional of me, but I do lose my spot from time to time here. Coinbase is also showing average hold times, which is the median number of days an asset stays in a Coinbase customer's account before it's sold or sent to another address or wallet. A new popularity signal shows how many customers hold each cryptocurrency. The last signal is a price correlation metric designed to give traders a look at whether the prices of certain crypto assets are correlated with one another. Meanwhile, and I love this, I just found out about this the other day. Meanwhile, the Crypto Fear and Greed Index, a measure of how fearful or confident Bitcoin traders might be, has recently dropped. So people are starting to feel more bullish. After a lot of people panic sold, and are now probably regretting that. If you're excuse me, I'm so sorry. If you are not driving or jogging or whatever, feel free to take a look at your screen where I'm circling right here. Here is the Fear and Greed Index, and where I am moving my mouse left and right, this is on the fear side. Just the other day when I reported on this for the first time, this is where the needle was. It was basically like humans could not possibly be more fearful of this market than they are now. And you can see at this particular juncture in time, a little less scared. So heading in the right direction. But generally speaking, it goes back to that Warren Buffett thing. What's that quote? I'm sure you guys know what I'm about to say. It's be fearful when others are greedy, or greedy when others are fearful, something to that effect. And so that's why when this needle's up here, hey, times are good. Maybe it's time to abandon ship. More conceptually, something more along that lines. So here's what they wrote on that front. On Wednesday, the index fell to a 245-day low, last seen when Bitcoin plummeted to around 3,200 in mid-December 2018. The index ranges from 0 to 100, with the bottom suggesting that there's extreme fear in the crypto market, which signals that the market could be nearing a bottom. The top suggests that investors are greedy, indicating the crypto market could be overbought. And history shows that tends to be true, and I think conceptually that's absolutely true. Not just in crypto, certainly, but I don't care. I mean, stock market, there you go. I think it's there true too. It just applies here because humans are humans, regardless of what asset class they're buying and selling. It just doesn't matter. All right, next piece here, and I'm only going to read through the bullet points on this one. It's a piece from CoinDesk titled "Bitcoin Defends Price Support, but Bear Case Still Intact." There's 4 bullet points. Number 1, Bitcoin's repeated defense of the 100-day moving average signals seller exhaustion, but a break above $10,445, the high of Thursday's hammer candle, is needed to confirm a bull revival. And here's number 2, a high volume move above 10,445 would open the doors to retest of 11,120. 3, Bitcoin may have a tough time scaling $10,445 as the daily chart indicators are biased bearish. 4, the risk of a drop to 9,049, which is the July 17 low, remains as long as prices are held below that level. And so we'll see what comes to pass, but given me that I'm such a long-term thinking type of guy, I just think you could revisit these types of articles like 5 years from now, and we're just going to be like, oh, those silly humans back then, because everything's going to be so far progressed. And I would be surprised if you were to fast forward 5 years. I'd be surprised if we weren't in at least $1 trillion market cap. I'd be a little surprised, seriously. Probably more likely a did I say million? I meant trillion if I said it incorrectly, but I think it's more likely that you'd see a multi-trillion-dollar market cap by then. What's going to hold it back? And then you just keep seeing these incredible cycles of parabolic run-ups and then intense fear, and there's panic selling. You've seen so many of these in just ridiculously shrunken time periods relative to what you'd expect from other asset classes. And it's just because there's a frenzy around this new type of technology, and I totally get that. But since that's the case, historically, that's what we've seen for a decade. I just can't imagine. Can you? 5 years without another major bull run like that? That'd be the greatest length of time without a true bull run in the history of the asset class. And I know it's a young asset class, but still. As a result, I wouldn't be surprised. All right, last piece here, and then I'll wrap up the video. It's from dailyhodl.com. Insider reveals why Coinbase UK abruptly delisted Zcash. Report. New details on why Coinbase UK suddenly delisted the privacy-centered cryptocurrency Zcash are emerging. Rumors that Coinbase UK is delisting Zcash first surfaced a week ago. The Electric Coin Company, which is the firm behind Zcash, then released a statement confirming the coin's delisting, while also stating that the crypto asset is fully compliant with regulators in the UK. According to the company, no other exchanges listing Zcash will be affected. Here's a quote. To those affected by Coinbase UK issues, this is limited to Coinbase UK only. UK residents can still buy/sell Zcash through cex.io. No other exchanges in the UK are affected. To preempt speculation, we confirm that Zcash is 100% compatible with UK regulations and KYC/AML requirements. And then the piece continues. Now, a person familiar with the decision tells CoinDesk it's directly connected to the crypto exchange's recent change of banks from Barclays to Clearbank. And this is what I find fascinating. Check this out. According to the source, Clearbank was uncomfortable in directly supporting a currency with features that make law enforcement's job harder. Why do you think that might be? And this is just the very beginning of stuff like this. I just... when it comes to privacy coins, look, there are very rational reasons as to why individuals and businesses would want to mask transactions from being viewed on a public ledger. There can be seriously legit reasons for that. But I just think that, to have a coin where innately that's all it does, and then to let that coin be openly available to anybody who wants to use it, I don't know that governments are going to allow that, and I'm not saying they won't. I am very concerned that they may, though. And then if it can't be traded on exchanges, then how does it have any staying power ultimately? Liquidity dries up, real world usage is gone, it's destroyed. Essentially, I don't know that they could have staying power. And so, given that it's reasonable to want coins, to be able to mask transactions, or at least for transactions to be masked, if not the coin doing it itself, it makes sense that maybe you just add layer 2 technology that allows for that. Another option is just to have a gatekeeper, essentially, because look at the way that XRP works. That's a public ledger, so you can see all the transactions on the public ledger. But banks don't want transactions to be visible, so how do they get around that? Well, there's a gatekeeper, essentially. There's fundamentally the way it's set up. You can look at, for instance, just look at Bittrex, for example. That's an official exchange utilizing XRapid. That they move U.S. dollars to Bittrex, then move that XRP to Bitso in Mexico, and then that to pesos. Well, once the bank has it, you don't know exactly. First of all, I don't know that there's because the exchange, first of all, is the one that's converting it to their own cash. There's no way to link the XRP once it's been exchanged for cash. So that cash that the bank has, Bitso in this case, the example I just made up, that would then be going to the bank. So the bank is protected from that. So there's another way you can have gatekeepers, and that's essentially what's being done to you. And it still makes it reasonable to utilize XRP. And for that particular use case, you need to either do that if that applies to whatever circumstance that you may be considering, or you need layer 2 technology that can just somehow mask certain transactions, and maybe that's something that can only be done on top of certain specific coins. I don't know the tech behind all of it, but I'm just saying conceptually, those are the types of things that would need to make sense when you're just thinking about it critically. That's what it would have to look like, I think. So we'll see. Time will play out, and who knows? Maybe I'm wrong, and privacy coins will have staying power. But right now, I am highly skeptical of that ever being the case. But that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I am not a financial advisor. Do not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo!